Good morning, everybody. It's the beginning of the weekend. At least that's what a lot of people want to call Friday. Now, if I was working, I'd say TGIF because I have a weekend off, but that's not the way it is right now. Let's see here. Life update. J.N. and I have been working on getting the craft room cleaned up, and we're about halfway through. We've got all the, well, 95% of the loose stuff off the tabletop, off the floor. It practically looks like a room now instead of a closet jam-packed full of stuff. Today's event is basically going to be cleaning up the floor so I can start ripping up the floor. So hopefully by the end of the day, I'll have most of the floor ripped up. That's what my desired plan is for today, but Jerry might have me remove the stuff off the bookcase that she has on the table. Has a bunch of her crafting supplies and whatnot. That's eventually going to have to get removed so I can move that table so I can rip up more carpeting. So what the tentative plan is, and what I mean by the tentative plan is, today I'm supposed to go in there and try to rip up as much carpeting as possible. Well, I have to remove the two small bookcases. No, those are already removed, Jim. It's that big monster that's against that one wall. That the idea is for me to rip up carpeting, put in the new flooring, shimmy that big bookcase onto the new flooring, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that without removing everything from the top of it, which is all her organized flower crafts and stuff like that, and then rip up more carpeting to put down more flooring and move this and move that, and yeah. We will see how that all goes. Right now my brain is going, yeah, I can do this, and I'm like, okay, hold on, let's get to that point first. So I'm hoping to get the craft room done by Monday. I've already taken too many days off or too much time off from that job because of medical appointments. Yeah. I am actually happy that we're actually finally getting it along, and it looks like it should be done. I should be done with her craft room and be able to start doing this by next week. A week from Monday is when I start back to work. Winter vacation will be over, and I'm kind of like, yay! Oh, wait a minute. That means I'm gonna have to shave, or at least trim it down so it's not long. It's not that long right now, but still, they're probably going to want me to shave it down so I can not have to worry about people complaining about the possibility of hair in the food, which I try not to do. I mean, I try to be mindful of that. And I'll be honest with you, I have not seen, even when my beard was longer and I was able to give it a little twist, Nordic look, I didn't shed that much. But yeah, I'm probably going to shave just out of politeness. Oh, it went away before I could look at it. I am still getting messages from my last video this morning, and I read what was there already, and I just most of the messages, I had enough people on there not only putting in their 2 cents, but a lot of people were trying to get the or the person who originated the message to see both sides of the coin, because there are a couple people who watch Jerry's channel and my channel, and they see what's going on both sides of the coin. And yeah, okay, there are some things that I had to put my 2 cents in, because it was just kind of like, yeah, okay. That question, there was a couple of questions that were asked in previous comments a week ago about home health, and unfortunately our insurance will not, well, when we tried to get a home health person to come home with Jerry after the rehab, the downside was our insurance would have covered it if we lived in the St. Louis area. But because we live an hour and a half outside of St. Louis, we don't have anybody locally that will cover it. So basically, it's a combination of where we live, our insurance won't cover it, and distance from a major city kind of hampers being covered with a home health person. We do have a couple friends in the area that they offered as much help as they could, but because of their situation, they could not be. I don't think they could be a home health person that we can pay out of hand, out of pocket, or whatnot. But even then, we don't have that much money out of pocket right now, because we're recouping from the holidays. And anybody who knows what it means to recoup after the holidays understands you put a little bit of extra money into your holidays to make it nice and cheery and bright, and feed the family and get everybody nice gifts, even though I think we went a little overboard this year under the circumstances. But I look at it this way. We all came away from Christmas happy, satisfied, enjoying the holiday. Now we have to worry about just the factor of, okay, we had a great holiday. Now we have to tighten our belts a little bit more, or a little bit, not really more, but just a little bit, for a little bit longer, so to speak. There's a lot of things going on around the house that I'm not going to talk about, because it's between the three of us. What I mean by the three of us is Mom, Jerry, and myself. But it's all good. I mean, I look at it going, it's going to be good. It's going to be all good. The only thing that could make it better is winning the lottery. But since I don't play the lottery, that's not going to happen. I actually saw something. I received something email-wise that normally I would just kind of like, meh, throw it in the garbage. Publishers Clearinghouse. Their home that they give, their giveaway home with, prizes and bonuses and whatnot. I looked at the house, I looked at the blueprints, I looked at the location, and went, sure, why not? I haven't won anything in my whole entire life, so why not give this a chance? So I've been, going to that website and putting my email address and information in. Well, the first day when you throw in your lot to hopefully win the house, you put in all your information, your name, your phone number, your email address, things like that. And then every day after that, all you have to do is go in and put your email address in, and you put in your day's chance of winning something, or be lovely to win the house, because I forgot where it was, but I think it was in Colorado this year, in an area of Colorado known as Paradise Valley. It's a nice area. I've been there. At least I think that's where it is. Or maybe I'm thinking about some other year that I was like, ooh, Colorado, you know. But, or is it in Virginia this year? I don't remember now. But it looked like a lovely home and lots of space and whatnot. So I've been like, this one looks good this year. Of course, they all look good. It's just location, floor plan, the whole 9 yards. They had one that was a couple years ago in Maine, and I went, lovely views. Whoops, sorry. Lovely views, lovely floor plan and whatnot, and plenty of room for all of us. But I was kind of like, no, I know, you know, I don't know Maine that well, except for, you know, the fact that it does get extremely cold because it's up there near Nova Scotia and that part of the world, that part of the country, and I just went, no. But win or lose, hey, you know, that's not up to me. But sorry, I'm kind of like all over the place right now. Let's get back down to Earth. Let's say Jerry Ann and I did a really good job of cleaning out all the stuff on the floor and whatnot, and we went through some of it. Some of it, she already went, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna get rid of that, and I'm hoping when we start putting everything back in there after the floor is done and the furniture is where she wants it, that she'll go through and purge more. Now, I'm not saying that she needs to. I'm just saying I wish she would. But the thing is, as long as she has room for all her crafting stuff that's in here that's supposed to go back in there, and we can start weeding through it and going, okay, we need, this is giveaway, this goes into the craft room, this goes, I don't know, you know, just, when I go to start doing this room, it's going to be like, Jerry, here's a box of glassware that's supposed to be, you said you wanted to keep for crafting, find a room for it because I don't want it in my space. You know, it's kind of like, let's separate crafting from other rooms or other stuff. And I hope we get the big projects, which is the 2 rooms, done before I go back to work, because all the other little projects like straightening this room, straightening that room, and keeping everything cleaned and whatnot will be easier. She has an appointment this coming Thursday where we have to go into St. Louis, and she's hoping that the doctor gives her the all clear to start ambulating instead of using a rollator, because she said, if the doctor gives me a go ahead to walk, I'm going to drive. And I'm like, I hope your leg is strong enough to do that, because if you don't have the muscle control or whatnot to operate the pedals, you're not driving home. I'm sorry. I know she wants to, but I'm not wanting to put our lives in risk because her leg has not gotten the strength enough to do what it needs to do to drive. Because, honest with you, I have not seen her do a lot with her right leg, and every time she goes to lift her right leg to get out of bed or to roll over in bed, it does not have a lot of muscle control. It's stiff, it's weak, it's becoming, what's that word when the muscles start to deteriorate because of lack of use? Well, you might know it. At least I described it. But I'm worried about that. Because, like, hopefully if the doctor says, yeah, you can start walking around with a walker. You don't have to use a rollator, but use your walker. One of the things I'm going to tell Jerry is, all right, or not tell Jerry, ask the doctor, if I'm pretty sure I'll be in the room, is there any exercises or anything like that you can give us to strengthen her leg muscle? Because she has issues with manipulating her own leg, lifting it high, lifting it to a certain degree, or moving quickly, which driving sometimes you need to have good reflexes with your leg to stop quickly, because if somebody jumps out in front of you or something happens in front of you where you need to hit that brake as quickly as possible. And it's not that I don't want her to drive, it's just I want her body to be stronger so she can drive. So it's one of those things where it's like, of course, she said something last night that just kind of took me a second to go, what? What did you just say? Because we've been talking about the house and whatnot, as of late. And basically what she said yesterday was that when we go to quote unquote retire, that we're probably retiring to an RV, as in we're not going to have a house, we're going to have an RV. And I just kind of went, that's a great idea. I didn't say anything to Jerry because my brain was just like, my brain was everywhere yesterday because I'm trying to clean up not the guest room, trying to clean up the craft room, trying to get things organized and dealt with, so when I go to do the carpeting or the flooring, it will be much easier and much faster. This whole, like, when we go to retire, we're going to retire to an RV, and the wording that she used made me think that if we're going to retire to an RV, one, when do you think that's going to happen? And two, if that's exactly what I'm thinking is exactly what you're meaning, what are we going to do about the house? What are we going to do about our belongings? Because if we're not paying into the house, what is mom going to do? Because I know she ain't going to be able to stay here with, she's not going to stay in this house without, our assistance. So what is she going to do? She's going to downgrade to, like what she was renting before, a 2-bedroom, 1-bath with a full basement. And the basement was undone, and it had too many problems as it is, and, things like that. And I just kind of went, what to do, what to say. Because instantly my brain was just kind of like, well, if we're going to retire to an RV, why are we keeping half the stuff that I'm moving out of the craft room, let alone half the stuff we have in the house? And I'm not trying to jump the gun and get rid of everything, even though I want to, but my brain is just going, okay, if we're going to do that, I'm going to have to start downsizing as much non-clothing material non-clothing articles that I have that won't fit into an RV. I mean, I don't have a big library, but it's like, how many of these books can I get downloaded to my phone or my tablet so I can read them anytime I want to? That and the factor, one of the things I've learned recently through research is having an RV is like having a home on wheels. You still have to pay a mortgage because basically you're buying a mobile house. There's the upkeep factor. There's all the different little factors that I don't know because I haven't had hands-on personal experience. It's one of the reasons why I would like to rent an RV of similar size that we are thinking about, which is like a Class C, I think. Unless she wants to go for the heavy-duty Class A, which could run a couple $100,000, and no, I'd be paying that for the rest of my life. Of course, what I thought about doing was getting an RV while I'm still working, and on weekends and holidays we can you know, save up money to go travel during the summer, spring, summer. Well, if we do any traveling during the winter, the time it's going to be in the south. Texas, Arizona, maybe Nevada. But it was one of those, like, where'd that come from, man? What is she thinking that made her think about this? But hey, you know what? If that's what she wants to do, I've been wanting to do that for years. I've been wanting to live out of an RV for, ever since Hurricane Sandy, basically. 10 years. Has it been 10 years? When was Sandy? Was that 2012 or 2000? Yeah, 2012. So that's, yeah. This year, 2022 will be 10 years. But hey, whatever. But no, yesterday she was in good spirits. This morning she's a little, I don't want to say achy, because the fact is she's wanting to get into her rollator to go into the craft room to probably monitor what I'm doing or whatnot. I don't know. I just know that before I can do any of the floor work, I got to clean up the floors, because there's all kinds of stuff, debris from her crafting and whatnot from the last, I don't know, for a while. I mean, for a couple of years, because it's not easy to vacuum up the craft room with all the stuff that's on the floor. And it's one of the reasons why I'm happy she's wanting to switch to tile floor, non-carpeting floor, because then it's so much easier just to sweep up. You know, you don't have to worry about the vacuum cleaner didn't get this, or the vacuum cleaner got jammed because of this. All you have to do is take a broom and a dustpan and sweep it all up. So I've encouraged her to do that. I wanted to do the same thing in here, but I can't, because the wall that is between this room and the guest room used to be one big room, and they put up a full wall on top of the carpeting. So I can't do the carpeting in here, because then it could cause problems with who knows what. I just know that I don't like the fact that they left carpeting on the floor, left the carpeting in place when they put up this faux wall. This wall has no electrical outlets, no nothing. So it's kind of like, yeah, if I wanted to knock down this faux wall, I can do it within hours. Because it just means taking a sledgehammer, knocking it out, cleaning it up, making it look like a big room again. But due to our current circumstances, that probably will never happen. It might be a selling feature, because the one downside is the guest room, which has an armoire for a closet instead of an actual built-in closet, technically cannot be used as a bedroom due to the fact that it has no windows. Okay? That's why it's a guest room, not a permanent room. And it's our, oh, we got tornado warnings. Let's go to the safest room in the house, which is the guest room, because it has no windows. And it's centrally located, and I forgot what other features that made it good for a storm room. But, you know, we're doing what we can with this house. Weather. Let's talk about the weather real quick. last time I looked, which was probably about 45 minutes ago or so, it was 12 degrees outside. No wind chill factor. And the winds was so steady that it said wind chill factor same as the current temperature. Good. It's supposed to be partly cloudy to mostly sunny, depending on what time of day it is because of the way the clouds are moving. No evidence of any snow for the next couple of days. Beyond 2 or 3 days, that's when I start going, you're just reaching for predictions and whatnot. But I can't wait to start working on this room. I know I just jumped from talking about plans for the house and then back to the plans for the house. Because when the craft room is done and I can start sorting through the stuff and throwing whatever is going to Goodwill into the back of the van, and that kind of thing, and cleaning it up and putting stuff away properly and all that fun stuff, I kind of can't wait. Like, if it wasn't for the factor that there's still a lot of heavy work to be done in the craft room, I would be like, all right, I'm gonna go through this stuff now and decide what's what and where is it going, because it's combination of a dumping ground and can't get the stuff that belongs in here put away the where I want it, to trying to figure out what to do with some of the stuff that Jerry Ann said that she was going to craft with. I'm a little kind of like, you know what, I've been waiting for so long. I'm at that point where I'm ready to just go trash, Goodwill, trash, Goodwill, trash, Goodwill, trash, put away, Goodwill. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. Don't know how. I'm going to have to clean up the walls and whatnot before I can hang up the lighting that I got for Christmas for in here. So I've got a special Wi-Fi bulb to put in. I want to put it in over my head because these two hi-hat bulbs that are in here, that in fact are a south-facing room where it gets warm throughout the whole day because of the sun hitting the windows and whatnot just right. It gets very warm in here. So it's like, I want to be able to, actually I want another one. I only got one. I wanted one just to try it out, but if it works the way it looks like it's going to work, I want two, because then you can change the lighting to a cool light instead of just regular bright white light that heats up everything. So yeah, once I get all the junk and crafting and whatnot out of this room, you will see a slow transformation. And once I get done with that transformation, I'll show you the whole finished product, because I've got 2 more tapestries. I might change out this one to the ship one, because actually I'd like to change out the curtains from red to some sort of blackout curtain or a different color. I know red's my favorite color, and that's one of the reasons why it was like, ooh, this would be great. Sorry, I keep on kicking my tripod. This would be great for me because it's red curtains. Well, as somebody pointed out with that tapestry, because it's a red tapestry with a lot of Nordic inlay and design and whatnot and meaning, people have made comments about it being somewhat demonic, and I'm like, no, it's not demonic. You got to think about the Norse people and what, wolves were part of their culture and part of their lore. I mean, there was Finrin, which was the wolf that took Tyr's arm while the other Norse guys were trying to tie it down to send it to a prison type dimension, or not dimension, a prison type, whatever. They were trying to imprison Finran. Then you have the two, and I cannot remember their names without looking at the lore, but there's two other wolves that, according to Norse legend, one wolf would chase the moon while the other wolf chased the sun. And if the wolves got to their target, which would be a sign of Ragnarok, end of days, according to Norse legend, that in effect, Odin had two wolves that sat. So there was 5 wolves in Norse mythology that I know about. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't consider it demonic. I just consider it a depiction. Well, you can say it was Finran getting captured and dragged down to Helheim, which is basically the Nordic version of hell. I might move it and put one of the other 2 tapestries back up there. I have to find those tapestries. They're in my pile of decor. There's a lot of different things I'm going to do to make this room mine. Dre had asked if I wanted her to make some sort of covering for the display case, because, you know, it's stuff that we don't use. It's just stuff for display, and nobody's going to see it because it's not out for everybody to see. It's more here for my visual enjoyment. So I might tack a tapestry on there that covers that whole thing, so I don't have to look at it all the time. I've got, if Jerry told me right, or my memory is correct, I've got a portrait and 2 mirrors in an old-fashioned style framing. And I'll just show it to you guys. You know, not the clock, but the 2 mirrors beside that picture. You can see how the frame was like an old style, old school type frame. According to Jerry Ann, it's her grandmother. And I never met her because she died before I met Jerry. But it's like, the frames themselves fit the old style, old school, old world type look. But back then they didn't have mirrors on hangers. They had hand mirrors. Or giant mirrors, not little portrait mirrors. And I had talked to Jerry, and I was like, not that I don't want it in my house, but I don't want it in this room because it's going to be my room. And I was like, where do you want it? And she was like, oh, I'm thinking about trying to hang it in the guest room. Well, if she goes to do that, she's going to have to rearrange a lot of the guest room decor, because she's got practically wall-to-wall hangings. Which, for the guest room, that's her choice, because I you know, and I kind of talked to Jerry and said, you know, the only downside with the guest room, besides its overall size, is the fact of that it's got so much stuff to look at in there that it could cause people headaches just trying to look at it all. I'm not going to fight with her about stuff anymore. I just went, here's my 2 cents. If you want to take it, take it. If you don't, that's up to you. Just like I told Jerry, you can give me all the advice you want, but if I feel that it's not gonna work for me, I'm just gonna leave it off to the side, because every individual person needs their own level of doing stuff. Everybody has their own idea of how to do a project, or where to start, when to finish, or where to start and how to finish, that kind of thing. But because all these other rooms that she's working on or wants to work on or redecorate, redecorate or change in one way, shape, or form, do whatever you want, because I haven't, her craft room, that's her craft room. I have no opinion. I want it done. That's it. I don't care how it's done. I don't care how quickly it gets done. I'm tired of planning and talking about things, and one thing or another happens to either put the plans on a back burner or just dropped. You know, like, no, I'm just done with it. I don't feel like doing it no more. Well, you can't just drop it in the middle of the project when stuff's all over the dang house and making me get a little antsy. Besides that, Mom hasn't said anything yet because she feels like me, it's temporary. But the problem is, if it doesn't get done quick enough, Mom will start getting anxiety ridden or whatever. And I don't want that. Because when Mom starts getting anxiety issues, I tend to have my own. And since Jerry's not the only one being, having anxiety because it's, oh, well, I was waiting for you because you're the one who has to do the bulk of the work. Yes, I know. And the thing is, if I was doing it my way, you wouldn't have a say of what happens in there because I will just go through there and do it my way. But because I can't do that, for her sake, my sake, and just the peace of the house, I'm trying to do it her way, and I'm trying to get myself to do it all, but she's not pushing. I'm pushing myself, and, I'm hoping this new medication that the doctor gave me last night, which is supposed to be a type of muscle relaxer or something like that, will help my body not be so sore. But my only concern is there's 2 cautions on the back, on the warning label. One is that it could cause drowsiness and dizziness, and do not operate a car or boat or machinery if you feel the side effects. And I'm like, okay, sure. The doctor said take it as necessary, as needed. The bottle says take it 3 times a day, and I'm like, I think I'm going to follow what the doctor said, because the doctor said take it as needed, so I don't have to worry about such heavy side effects. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I got a message through the messenger system here on YouTube. And it was, I don't remember who the person was, but they were talking about quit self-medicating. How does one self-medicate themselves when, one, they don't have a pharmacy at their back door, or the keys to the pharmacy? 2, everything I have medical-wise has either been subscribed or suggested by a doctor, and I follow the doctor's orders or suggestions on how to take my medication or when to take my medication. Like for instance, I have a medication that on the bottle it says take in the morning. The doctor who prescribed it to me, when they prescribed it to me, said take it in the morning time unless it's causing you drowsiness or sleepy, being tired. Then take it at nighttime, because maybe it will help you fall asleep, because I have no problems as is falling asleep. So that's what I did. I experimented with it. I did exactly what the doctor told me to do. I took it in the morning time. It was starting to cause me some issues with work, so I decided to switch it to night times. That's the only self-medication I've ever done. Now, yeah, I did talk about marijuana and the wondering if I should try to get, a medical marijuana card for my aches and pains. But that's the closest thing I've ever done to self-medication. I don't have medical marijuana in my house. Nobody in my house gets medical marijuana. Mom gets a muscle relaxant that she offered up to me one day when my muscles were really sore and tight, and I said no. I said no for 2 reasons. One, it's a controlled substance. So the doctors, I can't even remember what it was called, but, is it Valium? Or is it that other medication that's a muscle relaxant, starts with a V? I can't remember the name of it. I don't think it was a Valium. I thought it was something else. But it's a controlled substance. The doctors monitor how much she takes. So if she has to get a refill before it's time to get a refill, they're gonna want to know why. Two, it's for her. It's prescribed to her. I'm not going to take somebody else's prescribed medication unless I know exactly what it is. Like Jerry Ann has, she was prescribed a Tylenol with codeine or something like that she cannot take because it irritates her stomach and whatnot. I've only taken 2 because of the factor of how bad my back was, and I knew what codeine and Tylenol does for me. Thankfully, I don't have an addiction to medication. Yes, I have addictions to Mountain Dew, but that's probably about my only addiction that could cause issues if, my triglycerides elevate, because I've already got a abnormally high triglyceride level. That's why I try to watch my sugar intake, because too many bad sugars throughout my life. But self-medication, no. So self-diagnosis, maybe. But since I can't go out and get the item that people think I might be self-medicating with, no. I'm not one of those. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not a hypochondriac. No. In truth, if it wasn't for the fact that the medications that the doctors have prescribed me were not working, I would not be taking them. But I don't sit there and go, oh yeah, I've got these medications in my house. I don't know if I need them or not, so I'm just going to take them just for the sake of taking them. No. I do not like the chalky flavor of some of the non-coated pills. That, in fact, I don't like the idea of these pills that are, well, let's just say that I have a vitamin E pill that's pretty big. When I was younger, I used to call them horse pills because they were so big that my parents had to cut some of the medication I was on in my preteens and early teens, I should say, because they were just so huge. I could not swallow the big pills. I learned a few tricks on how to deal with the big gel cap pills, because if you can get them lined up just right as you're taking your taking water to wash it all down, if you aim the pill just right and hopefully it doesn't get turned sideways while you're swallowing, they'll go straight down. In fact, my wife was laughing at me the first time she saw me trying to take these big pills, because it looked like a bird of prey or something like that, trying to choke down a rodent. Because I was doing this, trying to get it all washed, to the back of my throat as I'm sipping, as I have water in my mouth. So I do this like head bob where I'm like, okay, go down. All right, good, you went down. Great, I'm not choking on a pill. So yeah, it looked a little odd to Jerry, but I was like, I gotta do what I gotta do to swallow some of these pills. And she's like, well, have you ever thought about trying to, individually do the big pills like Mom does? And I'm like, no, I'm too stubborn. But yeah, I take what I'm prescribed and nothing more and nothing less, unless I'm having a negative reaction to either the individual pill or just the different pills I'm taking. According to the pharmacist, there's no negative interaction with my other medications, so I'm good for that. But yeah, I do what I'm told to do when it comes to my medication, because the doctors should know best. And I am literally putting my life and my well-being in their hands when it comes to these things. But I don't go around just going, oh, what does that pill do? Oh yeah, I think I need to get that pill. No. I literally, I literally stopped taking all medications for almost 20 years. Yeah, 20 to 25 years between my incident with my medication in my early 20s, my antidepressant medication that was screwing me over more than helping me, and a couple years or so after I met Jerry, because, Jerry, what was it? We got married, and then we decided to go to Las Vegas because her sister couldn't come out to our wedding. So we went out there to have a part 2 of our wedding, our post-wedding honeymoon. There we go. Couldn't think of it. Part 2 of our honeymoon was going out to Vegas to see her sister and whatnot, and we stayed a night or two at the Excalibur, because why not? We had a Renaissance themed wedding. Let's go to go to Excalibur. So that's what we did. And while we were there, her sister-in-law, her brother-in-law, and the did they have? They only had 2 kids at the time. Or did we have a babysitter for the kids? But anyhow, the 4 of us, maybe 5 of us, the oldest daughter basically, went out for dinner. And when we got back from dinner, there was a voicemail on my sister-in-law's answering machine, basically wanting me to call the hospital, call the doctor's office at the time that we had in New York as soon as possible. And it sounded very urgent, and my sister-in-law was freaking out about it, because granted it was for me, but she was freaking out about it. And I gave him a ring-a-ding the next morning, because it was after hours. And they were like, yeah, we got your blood work back, and you have extremely high cholesterol. And I was like, well, what's extremely high? And they're like, oh, in the 3,000 range. And I'm like, well, is that bad or what? And they're like, yeah, you could have a heart attack. You could drop dead at any moment now. So if you feel any chest pains or any unusual abdominal pains, go to your emergency room. And I was like, the rest of my time there was just like me panicking and going, what the and my wife going, what? Everybody was like, that's not good, you shouldn't. And then when we finally got back to New York, I wanted to say Germany there for a second. When we got back to New York, I went to see my doctor, and the doctor was like, yeah, because you're abnormally high cholesterol level, we're going to put you on these different medications to help you get your triglycerides and whatnot down. So it wasn't really cholesterol, it was just the bad triglycerides that were the problem. And yeah. So it was like, okay, I need to start getting back on medication and listening to the doctors and following this regimen or that regimen. And yeah, not an easy task. But anyhow, almost 50 minutes. I am so sorry, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go with that piece of information. Just to let you guys know, we are working on the craft room. Jerry's gonna do most of the editing and whatnot to put the video online. I don't know when she's gonna do that. I think she should do like part 1, part 2, part 3, like beginning, middle, end, type thing. But that's her channel. I'm not telling her what to do with it. But yeah, I want to get out of this room because it's starting to get warm in here. Well, that's one of the reasons. The other reason is we got stuff to do. So, just a quick brief of a recap or whatever you want to say. Jerry is doing pretty good health-wise. I mean, she's, as always, no matter what the situation is, no matter how bad the situation is, even with her cancer and all that stuff, she's keeping her hopes up. She's trying to keep her spirits up. She's trying to be happy and find a reason to smile every day. It's not an easy thing. I mean, I am hopeful that on Thursday, she gets the go-ahead to start using her walker and walk about the house. I think she needs to do that because it's going to help strengthen her legs so she can drive. I just don't know if I'm going to let her drive home. It really depends on how she feels, and I hope I'm not a nervous Nelly in the car because of her moving her right leg around has been problematic. It's been slow, put it that way. My only biggest concern with her driving or anything like that for long periods of time is that turtle shell, or whatever you want to call it, sometimes causes pinching in the arm nerves and in the hip region. My last understanding is she's probably going to be wearing that for several months, probably up until spring break, if not later, before she can do whatever. I think the doctors, when she goes up there Thursday, is probably going to x-ray or examine her right leg and her back just to see how it's going. Yesterday she did receive another radiation treatment. I want to call it chemo, but there's two forms of chemo. There's the radiation factor, and then there's the pill factor. The pill factor helps with slowing down, if not stopping, the growth of more tumors, and the radiation factor actually shrinks, if not destroys, the cancer cell wherever they're aiming for. Right now they're focused on her shoulders, but she's got so many of them throughout her body that I don't know what they're going to focus on next. I'm hoping that the next chemo, once they're done with the shoulders and find out that the shoulders are good, I'm hoping they'll deal with her hip and her right leg, because what I thought I heard her say the other day was they found another smaller cancer cell on the right leg, on the bone, on the femur itself. And I'm just kind of like, great. We need to get to that before it causes even more issues, because she's got enough problem with her femur right now and it trying to heal and all that fun stuff, that I just kind of went, if they go and examine that Thursday when we go up to St. Louis and they tell us that because of its location and whatnot that she can't walk, she's gonna be upset and devastated, and I'm gonna be like, tell me now, doc, do I need to be prepared for her to be in a wheelchair the rest of her life, or what? I need to know these things, because I'm having my own issues lifting and moving her wheelchair around and all that stuff. And I don't want to have to go to my primary going, okay, yeah, I'm going to need to start getting workup on my arm, shoulder, back, arms, shoulders, and back, because they're getting very pain and very sore and whatnot, just trying to help Jerry out. Not that I don't want to help Jerry out, because, I'm going to do whatever I can to make her happy because of the situation, but at the same time, I have to think about my well-being. Otherwise, something happens to me, yeah. Either Jerry's going to be SOL, or we're both going to be SOL. And I don't want that. Granted, I think Julie said she might be able to come back out here by February. And I'm like, get yourself healed up, because I don't need you coming out here and not being able to do anything because you're hurting and you're hundreds, if not 1,000 or so miles away from your home, your primary and your doctors and your healthcare people. I'd rather her be home being taken care of than trying to come out here to take care of Jerry, even though I do appreciate it. It's just, I don't want to feel guilty that she's out here with her issues trying to help Jerry do as much as she can. I mean, granted, even if Julie were to come out here and just do the cooking and the cleaning that she was doing before and being there for Jerry as best as she could be, I don't want her trying to help Jerry out of bed or out of a chair and hurt herself even more. So Julie, if you're watching this, don't worry about what's happening out here. I mean, get yourself better before you even think about coming out here. The last time I heard, you were thinking about flying out here as soon as you were healthy enough, and I want to make sure you're fully recovered before you even attempt or think about coming. I know you've already thought about, but I'd rather have you capable of doing everything necessary while I'm at work. That's where we're at. I mean, we're doing what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks or months or even a year to take care of each other. I'm worried about her. She's worried about me, but I keep on telling her, stop worrying about me. You've got too much on your plate to be worrying about somebody, to worry about me. I'm quite capable of taking care of myself. I know my limits. I know when to say enough is enough. I've gotten to the point where it's like, look, I'm willing to do what I can, but when my body starts getting to the point where I can't do it no more, we're done. Give me an hour or so to give me my STEMS unit, my icy hot. Let me sit back for a little while and get back to a place where I can start moving stuff around or lifting or bending or anything like that. So yeah, we're trying to keep on top of the situation and not push to the point of being broken, because we both realize that if something happens to me, yeah, that's gonna be a bad thing. But anyhow, almost an hour long. Dang it, Jim. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Questions in the comments, go ahead and put it in the question comment box. If you're new to my channel and want to hear more of whatever you heard that you might want to hear more about, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you wish. And then after that, a little bell will pop up. You click on that bell and YouTube will let you know when I put in my next video. And until next time, you guys have a good day. Enjoy. Bye.